أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. واضرب لهم مثل الرجلين جعلنا لأحدهما جنتين من أعناب وحففناهما بنخل وجعلنا بينهما زرعا كلتا الجنتين آتت أكلها ولم تظلم منه شيئا وفجرنا خلالهما نهرا وكان له ثمر فقال لصاحبه وهو يحاوره أنا أكثر منك مالا وأعز نفرا ودخل جنته وهو ظالم لنفسه قال ما أظن أن تبيد هذه أبدا وما أظن الساعة قائمة ولئن رددت إلى ربي لأجدن خيرا منها منقلبا قال له صاحبه وهو يحاوره أكفرت بالذي خلقك من تراب ثم من نطفة ثم سواك رجلا لكن هو الله ربي ولا أشرك بربي أحدا ولولا إذ دخلت جنتك قلت ما شاء الله لا قوة إلا بالله إن ترني أنا أقل منك مالا وولدا فعسى ربي أن يؤتيني خيرا من جنتك ويرسل عليها حسبانا من السماء فتصبح صعيدا زلقا أو يصبح ماؤها غورا فلن تستطيع له طلبا وأحيط بثمره فأصبح يقلب كفيه على ما أنفق فيها وهي خاوية على عروشها ويقول يا ليتني لم أشرك بربي أحدا ولم تكن له فئة ينصرونه من دون الله وما كان منتصرا هنالك الولاية لله الحق هو خير ثوابا وخير عقبا. This is in Surah Al-Kahf, starting from verse number 32, for those who want to follow up with me during the class. Go ahead, read.
Give them an example. There were two men. We gave one of them 2 gardens of grapes and surrounded both of them with date palms and placed vegetation between them. Both the gardens brought forth their fruit and suppressed nothing from it, and we caused a stream to flow through them. And he had wealth, so he said to his companion while conversing with him, I am greater than you in wealth and stronger in manpower. And he entered his garden while he was doing wrong to himself. He said, I do not think that this will ever perish. And I do not think that the hour has to come, and even if I am sent back to my Lord, I will surely find a better place than this to resort to. Said his companion to him, as he was conversing with him, do you deny him who created you from dust, then from a drop, then he made you a perfect man? As for me, I believe that Allah is my Lord, and I do not associate anyone with my Lord. Why, when you entered your garden, did you not say, everything is as Allah wills? There is no power except with Allah. If you see me inferior to you in wealth and children, then it is likely that my Lord will give me what is better than your garden, and will send to it a punishment from the heavens, and it will become a barren land. Or its waters will sink deep in the earth, so that you will never be able to search it out. And its produce was overwhelmed by calamities, and he stood wringing his hands in anguish over what he had invested in it, while it was fallen down on its trellises, and he was saying, I wish I had not ascribed any partner to my Lord. There were no supporters for him beside Allah, who could come to his help, nor was he able to defend himself. That is where the power of protection rests to Allah, the true God. He is the best in rewarding and best in requiting.
Very good. Jazakallah khair. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala wa ba'd. After the story of the young men who hide in the cave from their people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the story of these two men. And there is, al-ulama rahimahullah said there is similarity. The young men who hide in the cave, they were the believers, and their people, the disbelievers. And what happened, those disbelievers saw themselves upon the truth because they have the power, they have the age, they have the numbers in their sight. And in this story, the same, very similar. One of them thought that he's upon the truth because he has the wealth, he has the family, he has the numbers, he has all the things that, make person powerful, has power. And he thought that power will make him in the right side. And he see the other person who's poor, who's less than him. So the people of the cave, their elders saw them less than them. They are young, they're foolish, they don't know, they have no wealth, they're not from the family, not from the royals, not from the leaders, not from the elites in the society. So they looked down upon them and basically rejected their call. And here the same story comes again, that again people get astray or went astray because of the power that they possess. And here the power that you will know, the power of wealth, the power of family that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving to this man. And again, the story tells us that the outcome is for the believers. Like the people of the cave survive and their people die. And al-haq flourished and that falsehood basically vanished. The same thing here, that this man who is a believer, he will remain, and the disbeliever, the arrogant person, the one who rely on his power, will lose all his power in the dunya. So if this is the case, always happen again and again, Al-Quran tried to give all these examples, one after another, as a reminder for us that we don't ever rely on the dunya. Don't ever rely on the power that you have in this life. And this power can be represented and manifested in many ways. It could be your wealth, it could be your knowledge, it could be your youth, it could be your culture, whatever that thing that maybe will deceive you and think you are capable of challenging Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and challenging His rules. The story, in short, is basically two men. One of them have a very beautiful gardens that produce to him all kind of fruits, all kind of vegetables, all kind of, grains and things that he sells, and he makes a lot of money out of it. And he's very wealthy, has a huge number of maids and servants and followers and big family. Like what you say, he has basically living the dream. Big house, big home, big ranch, big farms, money that's guaranteed. And at the same time, he has no need of anyone, and things looks like going to continue this way for a very long time. But that person, his wealth and power have made him arrogant, that he sees all this as a result of his own work, not as a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To the extent that he doubted the day of judgment. That because of all this power that he possessed, he said, I don't think there is a day of judgment. There is nothing can be better than this. This is everything. And he denied the day of judgment. He disbelieved in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He did not submit himself to Allah. And his friend is a poor person. Doesn't have the wealth, doesn't have the family, doesn't have the numbers, nothing like the first one. But he's a believer. And he started reminding him and warning him that the result of arrogance and kibr will lead to your destruction. And that's exactly what happened, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have given us a great example of how He destroyed the wealth of that person while this poor man watching it. And that person, in the end, as you will see, did he repent to Allah? Did this basic destruction of his wealth have made him goes back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and realize the truth? The answer is yes. He realized that he should have not disbelieved in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So let's see the detail of the story. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَضُرِبْ لَهُمْ مَثَلَ رَجُلَيْنِ جَعَلْنَا لِأَحَدِهِمَا جَنَّتَيْنِ. Give them the example. Where are we at? Yeah, here. 32. Give them and put forward to them an example of two men. وَضْرِبْ لَهُمْ مَثَلَ الرَّجُلَيْنِ. It's a very common in the Quran that the Quran use these analogies or these examples. Basically, he take a meaning and making it for you in a form of people, a story. So instead of telling you, hey, don't rely on your wealth, he give you a story of someone who relied on his wealth and he forgot about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Al-Quran always teach you through story, and that's one of the best way of teaching people, through stories. So he gave them the story of these two men. And Al-Quran have given many examples, and there is so many examples in the Quran to the extent that the ulama rahimahullah have a science it's called ilmu amthal al-Quran. That ilm focus on all the stories and analogies that are in the Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have given. Al-Mawardi rahimahullah is a great famous Shafi'i scholar said, and that's one of the best science of the Quran. And one of the best things to learn in the Quran, to study all the examples. Anytime Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, give them the example. I'm giving you an example. Study that example, study that analogy to learn a lot from it. Give them. Them referring to who? وَضْرِبْ لَهُمْ. لِمَنْ لَهُمْ. To whom Allah is speaking? Give them. When He said them, referring to who? Give who? The Christian. What would be the Christian? Yeah, but we move from Al-Kahf. We now talk about that the Prophet ﷺ was asked, say, give them the example. Some ulama said, close to the disbelievers of his time. قُلْ لِلْكُفَّارِ. Tell the disbeliever this example. Other ulama rahimahumullah said, no. Actually, tell the people of Quraysh this example. So the story of Al-Kahf was for the people of the book, the Jews, and this example for the people of Mecca. Okay? Or tell the believers this example. What do you guys think? Can this example be given to the believers? What will be the benefit? What will be the benefit of making this, giving this story, telling this story to the believers? So they know that the outcome always in their sight. Don't be sad because you don't have the power. Because the people of Mecca, powerful, that's right. The people of Mecca, Quraysh, the disbeliever, have the power, have the wealth, have the followers, have the money, have the resources. While the believers are few, they don't have much. They are like that guy in the story who doesn't have much. And the people of Mecca, represented by that man who have the big farm, the two great farms, and the basically the has the power and the wealth and so forth. That's right. So that example also fit the believer. That's why the best way to say وَضْرِبْ لَهُمْ, to them, actually refer to all. Refer to the people of Mecca, to the disbelievers, and to the believers. Yani to everybody. Even this to us today. This example good for us today. وَضْرِبْ لَهُمْ مَثَلَ الرَّجُلَيْنِ. Two men. Who are these two men? Do we know them? Do you know that some of the Mufassirin, the interpreters, said they are not even real too. There is no real, this story is imaginary story. قالوا هو مثل مضروب. It's an example. But not necessarily means that there were really two men exist in this conversation. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, if, as if the example, if there is two men, one possesses that, but that's not a very good interpretation. هذا التأويل باطل فاسد. It's wrong. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us a conversation took place and challenge and a punishment fall upon. And if all this never happened, we cannot trust the Quran anymore. And Allah says in the Quran, وَمَنْ أَصْدَقُ مِنَ اللَّهِ قِيلًا. Who can be more truthful than Allah? Allah said the absolute truth. So you cannot say this is not true, didn't happen. No. Anything in the Quran, it's something absolutely must happen. So these are two men. Who are they? Some people said they were two brothers who their father died and left them a lot of wealth. One of them gave up all his wealth and donated for the sake of Allah, and he ended up poor. And the other one took the wealth and kept it and never gave charity and increased his wealth. And they are from the children of Israel. Since the story of Kahf, the question raised by the Jews, so Allah telling them a story from their history of these two men. And one of them basically, as I said, gave up his money, ended up poor. And the other one, no, became very wealthy, became very powerful, but he ended up disbelieving. And they said they are the two men who Allah mentioned in Surah As-Saffat, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَأَقْبَلَ بَعْضُهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ يَتَسَاءَلُونَ قَالَ قَائِلٌ مِّنْهُمْ إِنِّي كَانَ لِي قَرِينٌ يَقُولُ أَإِنَّكَ لَمِنَ الْمُصَدِّقِينَ. In Surah As-Saffat, you can read it verse 51 all the way to 55. You can read the story. But doesn't seem to be very strong opinion as well. Why? Because in Surah As-Saffat said, I have a qareen. Okay? Qareen, it means friend. If they were brothers, he would not refer to his brother as a friend. The Quran, the way the Quran put it, doesn't show that they are related to each other. Okay? So that's why also we don't agree with that interpretation. Others said, no, they are actually from Mecca. This example of two men, these two men from Mecca. One of them is Al-Aswad ibn Abdi Ashad Abdu Yalayl, which is a disbeliever from Mecca. And the Muslim was Abu Salama. You know Salama, the Prophet's wife? Her previous husband, who she's a widow, she was married to Abu Salama, his name Abdullah ibn al-Ashad Abdu Yalayl. And they were also related to each other, or brothers. So she said her husband is the believer. But also this opinion is weak, in my opinion. Pardon? There is no river in Mecca. And there is, very good, there is no river in Mecca. And there is no two gardens like this in Mecca. The way that garden was described is not something that you see in Mecca. Okay? And there is no any proof for that. So who are these two men? We don't know. Would it make a difference if we know their names? No. Would it make a difference if we know where they're from? No. The only thing we need to know what happened between them, and that one of them a believer and one of them is disbeliever. And the Quran, as I said, is not a history book to document names and locations, and unless there is a benefit in that. So that's why Al-Quran did not tell us who are they exactly. جَعَلْنَا لِأَحَدِهِمَا جَنَّتَيْنِ. We made for one of them, okay, one of them we had given two gardens. Ya salam. One of them we have given two gardens. Question. The one who given the two gardens is the believer or the disbeliever? Disbeliever. But you notice the Quran did not start by saying the disbeliever we give him two gardens. The Quran said one of them we gave him two gardens. Why? What do you think? ايش يعني الجمال في هذا التعبير؟ العلماء رحمه الله said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't start by saying that he is the disbeliever. Why? Is to make the case strong against him. That Allah is saying, the one who I blessed him with 2 gardens, and I give him this, and I give him that. So basically, and after all what Allah have given him, you come to be surprised with the nature of this man. And instead of being grateful and thankful to Allah, he is ungrateful. He is kafir. It's very beautiful. So he mentioned all the blessings first, then show you. So that's what Allah did to him. Then he show you what he did back to Allah. He disbelieved in Allah. He was ungrateful to Allah. The way Al-Quran put the story, it make you excited. Okay, one of them have all this, so what's next? Tashweeq, we call that. طيب. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us that he gave him 2 gardens. طيب. 2 gardens. 2 gardens of grapes. جنتين من أعناب. 2 gardens of grapes. And we had surrounded both with date palms. So can you imagine? There are 2 gardens of grapes and surrounded with palm date or date palms. And have put between them green crops, which means all kind of vegetables, all kind, like a huge gardens that produce many different grains and vegetables and fruits in the middle. طيب, here you might ask question, Sheikh, why Allah mentioned grapes and palm trees or date palms in specific? It's 2 amazing trees, by the way. Grapes is originally it's a tree, grows in cold, like a cold atmosphere, like not a hot country, in a semi-cold country, okay, or a cool weather. But still, grapes can survive in a very hot country. You can basically grow grapes in Saudi Arabia today, in the desert, in Arizona. And dates is the opposite. Palm trees is a tree that originally grow in a very hot weather condition, but can survive in a very cold condition. That's why you can find palm trees grows in very cold places, and it will survive. These 2 are very interesting. And one thing about these 2, that they all comes together in the Quran. If you notice, every time Allah talks in the Quran, He brings the dates and the grapes together. The dates and the grapes together all the time. And by the way, every single time they come, Allah mention the dates before the grapes. Except this time. For instance, in Surah Al-Baqarah, له أو تكون له جنة من نخيل وأعناب. Dates and grapes. And in Surah Al-Nahl, ومن ثمرات النخيل والأعناب تتخذون سكرا. In Surah Al-Nahl, he put the dates, then grapes. وفي الأرض قطع متجاورات وجنات من أعناب وزروع ونخيل. Here he put the grapes first. وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وأعناب in Surah Yasin. Okay, so usually, not all the time, usually the dates come before the grapes. But what's the reason that these 2 trees always comes together? Why Allah mentioned these 2 together? Al-ulama said, rahimahullah, for many reasons. Now, one of them, because they are the most popular trees among Arabs, the most popular, valuable trees that the Arabs value so much at that time, the people of Mecca. Grapes used to grow in Taif, and dates were in Medina. And they very well known, very well respected trees. Also, they are the most expensive trees. And they are the one who makes you most of the money. Why? They are very expensive. Date expensive, grape is expensive. That's it? No. Grape and date can survive for a very long time. Yani date, when it's fresh, then it became old, turned to be dry date, and you can keep it for all years, or more than a year. What about the grapes? The grape turned to raisins. So from one form to another, you never lose. So that's why people make a lot of money out of these two trees, okay? And they said also because most of other trees die quickly. Like the insects attack most of other trees and kill them quickly. Versus dates and grapes survive for a very long time and very successful business. That's why it is the most valuable trees that the Arab knows. So that man possessed two whole gardens of grapes, and these two whole gardens surrounded with dates or palms. So that means he has a lot of what? Wealth. A lot of wealth, because they produce a lot of money, these two trees. Huh? It doesn't matter, but most of the time they come together. Not necessarily every single time, but many, many times these two always come together. طيب. So here, this person in the middle have all the vegetable, the fruits, the grapes around, two grape gardens full of grapes, and surrounded with palm tree. And if you can imagine that, how the palm tree outside like a skirt, it gives you that beautiful look of the garden. You know, it just gives you that long trees just surrounding the two gardens, make it so beautiful. And also grapes, when it grows up, it basically they make like if you have a gazebo or something like that, huh? Yeah, so it gives you shade and just a beautiful scenery. So Al-Quran leave you to think about how beautiful this is. So in this, he shows you that he produced things that fruits, things that people eat as a food, okay? So you have the luxury type of crops, and also the necessarily ones for surviving. Not only that, they look good. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said also, وَجَعَلْنَا بَيْنَهُمَا زَرْعًا. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after that, He said, okay, so it looks good, good dates, but what about the fruits? What about the vegetables? Does these trees produce the dates complete? Is the date that comes out of the trees are perfect? If you go to Arafat gas station here, you know, in Nasser Road 1, there's palm trees next to it. They produce nothing. They produce okay, you know, but there's tiny small ones like that. There's no point in it. You can't really enjoy. You can't make money out of that. Okay? If you go to some of these palm trees, it doesn't give you. You know what? I have many times tried to have tomatoes at home growing. I don't know what exactly I got, but definitely wasn't tomato. Okay? So you try, you have some vegetables and stuff like that. You have, mashallah, a lot of trees, but do they produce? The answer came to you from the Quran. كِلْتَ الْجَنَّتَيْنِ آتَتْ أُكُلَهَا. Ya salam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that each of these two gardens brought forth its produce in full amount. Not a single tree was missing. Everything was perfect, produced full amount. وَلَمْ تَظْلِمْ مِنْهُ شَيْئًا. Nothing was missing. Not a single tree missed out in its production. يعني لم تنقص منه شيئا. And the ulama said that shows you that one form of dhulm, injustice, is not to give people their full due. A lot of people think injustice means to do something bad to you, but not giving you right, that's injustice too. You see what I'm saying? So here, that's why Allah said, no injustice happened to these trees, because they produce their basically production in full amount, nothing missing. وَفَجَّرْنَا خِلَالَهُمَا نَهَرًا. Ya salam. This is very interesting. Listen to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said after that. He said, we caused a river to gush forth in the midst of them. I have a question for you guys. What do you learn from this format? We caused a river to gush in the midst of these gardens. What you benefit from this way of putting it? It could be said, and there was a river in the middle. But the way it was put, وَفَجَّرْنَا خِلَالَهُمَا نَارًا. I'll tell you something, those who have Arabic grammar will only get it. But it doesn't matter, if you don't know Arabic, the English is good enough now. فَجَّرْنَا, there is shadda. It means gushing. That's why we use the word gushing, because a lot. Question. I will say this again. What you learn from this format? We cause a river to gush in the midst of these two gardens. He has no hand in making this water. It's something was given to him by Allah. He didn't dig a canal. He didn't dig a well. He didn't bring a pump. You know what? The water is just gushing to him. So not only that he got the fruits, you might say, okay, he could take care of his gardens, but you know what? The water is completely from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What else you learn? Shows you Allah's favor upon him. That He's not only give him the fruits, He give him also the water. What else you learn from this? We caused a river to gush in the midst of his garden. هذا يعني أن أسباب الحياة دائمة. That means what will cause these two gardens to continue producing in the future is existence. What will cause these gardens to continue producing in full amount? Sustainability, which is water, a gushing water, a continuing water coming into the river. So it's not something, he doesn't depend on the rain. He doesn't depend on, this water is coming all the time in between them. So that means there is water, there is vegetable, there is water, there is trees. That's right. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that this situation that he's in, it is something not only temporary, it meant for him to continue this way for a very long time, which shows you Allah's favor upon him. Is that good? You following, guys? So, وَفَجَّرْنَا خِلَالَهُمَا نَهَرًا. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, after that, وَكَانَ لَهُ ثَمَرٌ. And he had thamar, property or fruit. See, in the translation, he did not tell exactly property, fruit, what it means, because the word thamar is ambiguous words, munakkara. And that, why it's ambiguous? Because it means a lot. نُكِّرَتْ لِلتَّكْثِير. Thamar, يعني a lot of fruits, a lot of property. Is that one of the meaning? They said one of the meaning of the word thamar, based on another qira'ah, وَكَانَ لَهُ ثُمْرٌ, with sukoon on the meme. Thamar, no, thumr. وَكَانَ لَهُ ثُمْرٌ فَقَالَ لِصَاحِبِهِ. Thumr, it means wealth, properties. That's why in the translation he said property. It could be property. One of the qira'ah also, thumr, sorry, not, yeah, did I say sukoon earlier? No, dhamma, thumur. Thumur. Thumur with meme has dhamma on it. Thumur, it means property. With sukoon, thumr, it became like وَكَانَ لَهُ thumr. It's like when you say thamara is a single, thumr is a plural. So it's like khashaba, khushub, thumr. The same way of saying it. Anyway, I don't want to get you into too much Arabic details. Not everybody really interested in this. But here it means a lot of fruits. So he had a lot of fruits, a lot of production comes out of these two gardens, a lot of money and properties. Then, yes. لا, listen, تيجي. Yeah. وكان له ثمر فقال لصاحبه. And he said to his companion, in the course of mutual talk, يحاوره, يعني they talking to each other. Okay? المحاورة, it means back and forth when you talk to someone. He telling him his companions. But the Quran used the word sahib. Sahib, his companion. And here it's an interesting that still there is a relationship between them, even they are Muslim and Kafir. Then he told him, he had the conversation with him. And the word companion here, or friends, the general meaning of friends. Because you might say, Sheikh, how come they are friends and the Prophet ﷺ told us to have friends only with the believers? Yeah, but there is a general term of friends. You can be friends with believers and non-believers, with people good and not necessarily to be righteous. But the special type of friendship, that closeness, it should be only to those who are religious, those who have good morality, those who have good akhlaq. Even among Muslims, you just don't be too close to a friend who have no good taqwa, no iman. Okay? So the people who consider very close friend to you is the people of faith and piety. Those are the people you take very close friend. It's like when you say he's his brother, the general term of brotherhood, the general term of friendship. That's why Allah said about Nuh, وَقَالَ لَهُمْ أَخُوهُمْ نُوح. Their brother Nuh said, because he's a brother to his people. Anyway, he said, أَنَا أَكْثَرُ مِنْكَ مَالًا وَأَعَزُّ نَفَرًا. He said to him, I am more than you in wealth and nafara. What's nafara means? Nafar, it could means the family members. Or it could be followers. It could be servants and slaves that he owns. Khadam. But Muqatil said something I 100% agree with it. Muqatil said, it means وَأَكْثَرُ مِنْكَ مَالًا وَوَلَدًا. He said, I have more wealth and children. So he said, nafara, it means children. Why? He said, because when the Muslim replied to him, he said, if you see me less in wealth and children, إِن تَرَنِي أَنَا أَقَلَّ مِنْكَ مَالًا وَوَلَدًا. Later on. So that means he understood from the word nafar, children. That's why he replied to him, if you see me with less wealth and children, it doesn't matter. So that means when the rich person with the kafir said, I'm more than you in wealth and children, it could be also the other things like it comes with entourage, like people like follow him and followers and slaves and people work for him. And all this he wanted to show off. He said, saying to him, I have all this, I possess all this. And he thought that this will make him better than the believer, just because of the wealth that he has. And he went into his garden while in a state of pride and disbelief. And one of the Mufassirin was telling that he held his friend's hand and he said, walk with me. Let me show you my garden. Let me show you the river. Let me show you the grapes. Let me show you the fruits. Let me show all what I have to understand what I'm talking about. وَأَخَذَ يَطُوفُ. And at that moment, al-ulama said, at that moment, he denied the resurrection. He denied. So they said the kufr happened at that point. He was not even kafir yet. But the kufr took place at that point. Some scholars said that. قَالْ طَرَأَ عَلَيْهِ الْكُفْرِ. His arrogance made him away from Allah. But his arrogance went to another level now. That he said, I don't believe the day of judgment is coming. I don't believe, because day of judgment means the end of the dunya. And he said, I don't think this garden can ever end. It's so healthy, it's so beautiful, it is everything. There is river, there is water, there is everything you can imagine. Every reason you have for this to survive forever exists. Why it will end. So that means there is no day of judgment. That's his mind. That's his thought process. Okay? He said, وَمَا أَظُنُّ السَّاعَةَ قَائِمَةً. He basically said, I think not the hour will ever come. And if indeed I am brought back to my Lord in the day of judgment, I surely should find better than this when I return to Him. So he thought that Allah will, because he gave him so much in the dunya, it means that he is loved by Allah. It means that he is on the right path. It means that he will have the same in the day of judgment. And that's just wrong. This analogy, the akhirah to the dunya, is wrong. And many people, by the way, think that way. Many people think, oh, if God wished, I wouldn't be like this. You know, God bless me with all these children, bless me with all this. Well, he think because God bless me with all this, I'm right. No, that's not true. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you to test you with it. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, أَيَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّمَا نَمُدُّهُمْ بِهِ. They think what we give them, مِن مَالٍ وَبَنِينَ, from wealth and children, نُسَارِعُ لَهُمْ فِي الْخَيْرَاتِ. It means we rewarding them. بَلْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. They don't know. They don't feel that this is basically a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The believers knows that the wealth and the children, the family are tests from Allah to see you are grateful, thankful to Him or not. Be very careful, my dear brothers and sisters, to make your wealth, to make anything you have, you possess, turn into an arrogant person. That person would turn him to be so arrogant like this that he can't see even the truth. He can't see how wrong he is. This is arrogance. Block his eyes. And nothing like arrogance can block you from seeing the truth. The best example, Al-Quran example. The story of Musa alayhi salam. Can you imagine? I just want you to think about this. Fir'aun. He sees Musa and his people. Allah split the sea to them, and they walk on the solid ground in the middle of the sea. And the sea basically split two sides. Each side, Allah said in the Quran, like the great mountain. And he's walking in the middle. And some even narration said, Allah made for them 12 roads for the children of Israel. Every tribe go on one road. And this is Fir'aun, and this is his soldiers. What Fir'aun did. And guess what? Did Musa steal anything from Fir'aun? No, he took the slaves and leave. And he just took the children of Israel and leave. What Fir'aun did? Followed him. This cannot happen for anyone. That's happened only for what? For a prophet. You know that this is from God. But what blocked him? Arrogance. He couldn't believe that Musa, the Israelite, can be better than me. God must also let me through this. I'm a God too. And arrogant. Wallahi, if there is no arrogant, that's a stupidity. Just turn back. If you notice, the sea did not go after him. He went in the middle of the sea, then Allah drowned him. But that's what arrogance leads you to. So my dear brother and sister, be very careful from arrogance. Maybe you don't have the wealth and the garden that this example gave you, but you have something else made you arrogant. Maybe it's your beauty. Maybe it's your muscle. Maybe it's your knowledge. Maybe it is your education. Maybe it's your degree. Maybe it is your social status. Maybe how smart you are. Maybe it is your wealth and the income that you have. Maybe it is your fame. Maybe it is your nationality making you arrogant and looking down upon other people. Go ahead.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
You know, the reason for people to be arrogant, actually, because I think this is fasad fil aql. This is corruption in the mind. You know, they don't think correct. And this is basically fasad fil tasawwur. Also, it's a corrupt, your mind is corrupt. And the way you see yourself and see things is corrupt. The way you see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is wrong. And the way you see the dunya is wrong. That's why you're arrogant. Because if you know the nature of the dunya, you'll never be arrogant. If you know the nature of Allah, you will never be arrogant. If you know the nature of yourself, you'll never be arrogant. That's right? Just think about these facts. You will know that this dunya worth nothing. So it's not something you should be so arrogant of having it. What's the dunya? It means nothing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What you are as a person to be arrogant of? Nothing. And that's why you're going to see how he replied to him in a beautiful way. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, رُبَّ أَشْعَثَ أَغْبَرْ مَدْفُوعٌ بِالْأَبْوَابِ لَوْ أَقْسَمَ عَلَى اللَّهِ لَأَبَرَّهُ. In Sahih Muslim, the Prophet ﷺ said, you might see someone dusty, his hair is all over the place, is messy and dusty, and people, مَدْفُوعٌ بِالْأَبْوَابِ, people kick him away. When he comes, they close the door. Nobody wants to host him. Because he doesn't look very attractive. People look down upon him. But such person, if he says to Allah, do something, Allah will do it. لو أقسم على الله لبر. Anytime he say to Allah, do this, Allah will do it for him. That person that you don't pay much attention to, that person that you look down upon, that person that you don't care for. By the way, don't misunderstand. This hadith doesn't tell you be dusty and have messy hair. That's not what make you close to Allah. There is kind of weird people understood this. We do have actually some extreme groups among Sufism thought that the point in this hadith is to be to look messy, to look dirty, to look unpresentable. That's not the point of the hadith. The point of the hadith, don't judge a book from its cover. That's the point of the hadith. It's just not right. So, in another hadith, also Sahih Muslim, a woman was breastfeeding her son, and a man passed by her riding a very fancy horse and having a very fancy clothes, very expensive clothes. وَشَارَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ وَمَرْكَبٌ فَارِهَةٌ. So she said, oh Allah, make my son like this night. قال اللهم اجعل ولدي مثل هذا. Her son left her breast and he said, اللهم لا تجعلني مثله. Her infant baby, Allah made him speak. He left her breast and he said, oh Allah, don't make me like him. Allah made the baby spoke. The Prophet ﷺ said, that man that she wished her son to be like him, كان رجلا جبارا. He said to his mother, this is a tyrant. This is a dictator. This is an abuser. A person who abused people with his wealth, with the power that Allah is giving him. Ya Allah, don't make me among him or like him. That aggressiveness, that abuse of the weak by the rich, by the powerful, it's an old story in humanity. But unfortunately, it didn't end yet. See how today big companies abuse the weak. Look at today how, big countries and strong countries abuse and prey on the weak ones. Look at the power. When you look at the policeman, because of the power that he gets, how he can abuse a kid or a teenager or a person that is powerless in front of him. Look at the military might when it's on one side and someone else has nothing. How they abuse them. Unfortunately, that story is unfinished yet. The abuse of the rich and the powerful to the poor and to the weak. The pack to the individuals. And this is something sad. And this story teaches us to be careful from arrogance. Then the believer responds. Ya salam, I love his response. I can't say enough about this coming verse. قال له صاحبه ويحاوره. His companion, his friend, responded to him while he is yuhawir, and he argued with him. Okay? Basically talking to him. And listen, Al-Quran said his friend told him back. Even after this man said the kufr, said the bad things, he still called him his friend, told him. It shows you that if you are giving da'wah, you always have to be looked friendly. Even with those who said openly the kufr. Even though someone openly says something wrong, evil like what this man just said. But you still act with him like a friend. If you really want someone to listen to you, you have to act friendly. قال له صاحبه وهو يحاوره. While he is not shouting, no, talking to him, back and forth. He said, أكفرت بالذي خلقك من تراب. He's saying to him, but as for my part, he said to his, do you disbelieve in him who created you out of dust? Then out of nutfa, mixed drops of male and female sexual discharge. Then fashioned you into a man. My question to you guys. The disbeliever has two things. His arrogance, he thinks that because of all the power and the wealth that he has, okay, it makes him better than the other one. And also he denies what? The resurrection. That's right? That's correct? That's correct. So these two issues here. He refuted both of them with this example, with this response. Can anybody tell me how? He basically killed two birds in one stone. The first one, he cured that arrogance. He shows that this person, your wealth, what money, blah, blah, blah you have, should not make you arrogant. Number two, you should not think you're better than me just because you have power and all this. Number two, he basically proved to him the day of judgment and the resurrection and the return to Allah. Yes. Very well. He countered his argument being arrogant by telling him where you came from. You came from a dust. You came from as once Mutarrif saw Al-Muhallab ibn Abi Sufra, who is a very famous general, walking so arrogantly, openly like this. So Al-Muhallab said, why you are so arrogant for? He said, don't you know who I am? I'm the famous general. He said, you don't know who I am? He said, I know who you are. He said, who am I? He said, you are a person who was made out of a lowly sperm, and you're going to end up a rotten corpse, and in between you're a carrier of your own feces. That's who you are. So he reminded him where you came from that discharge. And he told him where you came from. You came from dust. So why you are arrogant? You started from nothing, like me and everybody else. So whatever you possess should not make you arrogant, because what you got is not because it's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's how he started. And also telling him who made you out of nothing can bring you back out of nothing, which is the return, the resurrection. Then he said to him, also remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who gave you the favor, who brought you from nothing and make you grow in this beautiful way and fashion you in this perfect way you are right now. Reminding him of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's favor upon him in a way that he cannot deny it, because he cannot say, I made myself. He can say, I take care of my garden. But when it comes to himself, he have to admit that this is someone else have made him, how smart he is, how good he is. So reminding him of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala favor upon him. It's a beautiful answer. Then he said to him, he made you out of dust, which is cheap. Dust has no value. And it's, I don't mean it literally, but it's something cheap. Everybody knows it. Everybody step on it. To make you remember that and think of it so you don't be arrogant. Then he said, لَكِنَّا هُوَ اللَّهُ رَبِّي. This lakinna, for those who are interested, أصل الكلام لكن. أصل الكلام, it's two words. لكن لكن أنا. لكن أنا. So put these three words together, became لكن. لكن أنا أقول الله ربي. That's what the original word is. لكن أنا أقول. So لكن أنا أقول, لكن أنا put it together, became لكن هو الله ربي. But as for my part, I believe that He is Allah, my Lord, and none should associate as a partner with my Lord. ولا أشرك بربي أحدا. No one, no matter how that person is, no prophet, no messenger, no jinn, no angel, nothing. Then he said to him, so basically he because he told him, did you disbelieve in your Lord? If you disbelieved, I did not. I'm still a believer. With this we end, because only 2 minutes left for the Iqamah. I have a homework for you, okay? Inshallah, we're going to finish the rest of the story. And we're going to read the story, the verse number 45, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and put forward to them the example of the life of this world. It's like the water, rain, which we send down from the sky. My question to you, you need to prepare this for next week. Why Allah give the example of this dunya by the rain? Why Allah said the example of this dunya is like the rain, like the water that fall from the sky? What is the correlation between rain, water, and dunya? What's commonality? I was thinking about this and I came up with about 11 points. So, I want you to bring a point that I didn't think about. Next week, inshallah. So, I want you to start think about it seriously. Think about, maybe the 11 points, not all of them excellent, but not all of them, I made them up. I studied as well, I looked in book of Tafseer, but I tried to collect everything I come across. So try to think about it. That's what we call tadabbur. Let's learn a little bit how can we have tadabbur al-Quran. And you don't need to be a scholar to have tadabbur al-Quran, by the way. It's not tafsir, it's tadabbur. So something to think about it by next week. Try to come at least with 1 point. What's the relationship? Why Allah gave the example of this dunya like water? What's the connection between water and dunya? Inshallah, we'll pray and we'll see inshallah next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.